Elliot? I think I have it.
And we're back with a brand new season of Monday Night Frights. It's season 8, episode
What
1.
the fuck? How did we get here?
Yay!
8 seasons.
Eight seasons, Danny.
My goodness.
Uh,
My
to
goodness.
kick off season 8, we are here to talk about a wee film from Norn Iron.
Are we locally
A wee
film?
local film by.
Are we local
Oh,
film about
hi.
a local thing? In
About a
fact,
couple of boys.
the subject matter is very local to
Oh, it
hear.
is. Oh,
It
oh,
is.
oh.
Oh.
We're here today to talk about Boys from County Hell,
Mhm.
a quasi-vampire film from 2020.
Mhm.
That was actually released in 2021 because of the COVID issue. There was some issues with the release, but yeah. So this was the first time that I'd seen this film. You'd seen it before, Danny, and
I've seen it before,
yeah,
yeah.
we have talked about this before. You saw it at the cinema, didn't you?
I did. I saw it in the movie house in Mahara, which again is
Ooh,
still very close to the origins of this
it is,
particular
eh?
cinematic story.
A wee
But we'll delve into that. We'll delve into
a
that.
wee County Tyrone story, is it?
Well, it's a Mid-Ulster story.
Mid-Ulster.
It's from Glenolm. Funny enough,
Ooh,
just up the road here in
here,
Al Glenolm.
here. You were watching it, going, "I've fucking driven by that field before."
I've gone by. I've gone. In fact, it's not. You can't even. It's like
Too
some.
far out,
It's too far out. Yeah, it's on private property. You can get to it, but like you'll be trodden through some fella's field, and you might be told to fuck off.
and you might get
Uh,
killed by a bull.
and you may get killed by a pool, and then become an undead being. But
Hmm.
sure, it's just a good. Oh well, he was a well good cub.
Oh, hey, it was a good cub.
Well mannered cub.
There'll be a lot of culty
Oh,
references
that's
in
gonna
this
be full
episode.
culture. This is a
Uh,
film. When we came out of the cinema, haven't seen it, and it was like that's the most accurate representation of cultures in any film from here. And this is again, I think that's what the wonderful thing about this film is. It's very culty, but it's not done in like it's not done in like taking the piss kind of way, or
yes,
it's not
yes,
too much. It's
absolutely.
just accurate culture, and also it doesn't have a reliance on the Troubles.
Oh, it doesn't
The
mention the troubles
Troubles
once.
brought a
I
vampire to Mid-Ulster. Did you
know.
know?
It was
No.
it was the fucking it was the Ra.
It was oh,
It was the
was it
Ra that brought the fucking vampire.
brought the vampiras.
It was the no, it was English. It was definitely
It
English.
was definitely English. But even though the actual story, we will delve because I've the story, the Abernacht story that this
Hmm.
Abernacht is based on. Which again feeds nicely into some of the wee things in this film, wee attentions to detail that haven't read the real Abernacht, well, real Abernacht story.
And what is it? Is
Uh,
it Abernacht? Is it?
I think it's Abernacht, yeah.
Right, I have it written down wrong then.
For sure. Hold
I
on
have it
here.
written down Abertact.
Abertacht? No,
Abernacht. That sounds actually it does.
Abernacht. Oh no, it's Abertach.
Oh, I was right. So you.
You were right. Ah! Abertach.
Do you know why
Abertach.
I was right, Danny? Because I did my research.
Because you're well, I did my research, but then obviously just decided
Show
to make
me,
up my own words.
show me your research. There we go.
Words.
Fair play.
Yeah. I just went
Um,
and read stuff
we'll
and
get
then
in. Yeah, we'll get into the whole story, and you can once we hit that point, you can give us the backstory of the
I
actual
shall
story.
regale you with
Uh,
tales and folklore.
before we get into that, just a little update about what's happening with us.
What
Obviously,
are we doing?
we've been on a
Where
break.
where have we been?
Um, and
Hibernating.
we did a couple of screenings. I
We
think
did.
just as the last season was ending, we did the screening for The Exorcist, which
We
was
did.
to celebrate the 50th anniversary and a tribute to William Friedkin, who passed away
Mhm.
earlier this year, and it was fantastic. We had a great
Brilliant.
turnout, and it was a really good night. We have
Mhm.
photographs on our Instagram and somewhere else on. We put stuff on our Twitter as well. So
Yeah.
we dressed up as priests, Danny. I mean, you
We
didn't
did
we?
dress up as priests, threw out some blessings as
We
people
did. We were
were.
blessing people
It
and
was honestly,
doing
it
me
was great
decades of the
crack.
rosary and everything. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was good fun. No, it was good fun. It was obviously
Again, yeah.
amazing
Thank
movie.
you to everybody who came out for that. Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have also just did our screening a couple of weeks ago of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which was the
Yeah.
35th anniversary screening, which was probably, I think, is probably our best screening to date. What do you think?
Definitely one of the faves. Definitely up there as one of the favorites. Like, you know, it was our Halloween extravaganza, and we went all out. Sweeties, drinks, killer clowns, actual in-person killer
Yep.
clowns there to,
hmm
you know, give people a bit of a not fright. Nobody, I don't think anybody was overly frightened, but entertained. Highly entertained.
Yeah, it was good fun.
And again, thank you for coming out for that, everyone that did. Again, amazing turnout for that one as well. And yeah, just we've been really focusing on those
hmm
screenings, and then obviously all you guys on the website side of things have been writing some wonderful reviews and articles and all
Yes.
sorts as well. So
Yeah, we covered Fright Fest Halloween as well. So we did some reviews there, and we've, as usual, we're just covering all the sort of latest horror films that are coming out and stuff. We also have another screening coming up.
we
Just
do.
a very festive screening. On the 15th of December, we will be screening Mike Doherty's hilariously scary Krampus,
Oh yes. Oh
which
yes.
is,
Crumples.
a fucking great film.
I'm excited for it. Like, yeah.
We've often talked about potentially doing it on Monday Night Frights, and to be honest, if we didn't do the screening, we probably would have done it this
Yeah.
year. We have something else in mind for Christmas, so it should be a fun one. But the screening wise, we really wanted to screen this because it's just such a fun movie, and it's such a great full one from Killer Clowns because it's in that sort of comedy horror realm, although this is a wee bit scarier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
One more shout out. I just wanted to give a real quick shout out to Lisa Loves, who recently during Halloween, a lot of people do their 31 days of horror, where they watch horror film every day. She was doing her 31 days of horror YouTubers on her channel, and she gave us a shout out as her number
Oh,
one. So
no
I
way.
don't know if that means that we're number one. I don't think
That's
it does
really
mean
nice.
that.
I mean,
I think it was just we just failed number one.
we
So
fell into number one. That's
yeah,
wonderful. Oh,
it
thank you,
was fantastic. So
Lisa.
she's been very supportive, and she has given us a couple of shout outs on her channel before. So massive shout out to Lisa Loves. I'll put the link to her channel below. I'm sure anybody that's watching this has probably already subscribed to her anyway because she's been doing it for quite a few years. She does short reviews and weekly watches and all that sort of stuff. So please go and check her out. She's lovely. And we're about to talk about the film now, Danny. So
Yeah.
do
Let's
you
get
want
into
to
it.
do
Bye.
do you want to do a quick plot, or do you want me
Do
to
you want
do it,
to?
or
Yeah. You go ahead.
right?
I'll delve. I'll do the folk. I'll do the
You do the
background stuff.
folklore
I'll
part.
do the
Okay.
folklore part
Okay.
because I like it. I like it.
So this is a comedy horror set in Northern Ireland, as you said, sort of around Mid-Ulster area. For anybody that doesn't know that, it's a very culty farmer type area. It's
What are you talking about?
it's
We have a
very
shopping district.
it's very
It's got one of
rural.
the longest shopping streets in the whole of Europe
That
and
does, I.
Touchdown. So, you know, don't. It's not just farmers, boy.
But what does that? What do those shops sell, Danny?
Agricultural goods.
Compost.
A lot of flowers.
Slurry.
Other such things. Shite. Loads of
Loads of
shite.
shit. No. So comedy horror is it's about a legendary vampire called Abertacht who is awakened by this small local construction crew who are who are starting work on a bypass. There's always a fucking bypass being built somewhere.
Yep.
And it's been approved by the government. It's been built through this piece of land that is owned by one of the characters, or one of the characters' friends in this film. So there's a bit of sort of drama with that as well, which I really liked, and we'll get into that a bit later. But essentially, they're building through this field, and the legend is that this vampire was buried in this field, and there's a cairn built up with lots of stones, and this was the inspiration that Bram Stoker got because he visited this small town called 6 Mile Hill years and years ago before he wrote the novel Dracula, and this was supposedly the inspiration for Dracula. So I really love that sort of little nod to Bram Stoker as well.
Even the fact that the pub is called the Stoker,
yeah.
You know, it's very much a tourist draw, and they make a real point of that as well in the film, which is good. Yeah.
Which is, there is a lot of little villages and towns around Ireland and probably England and Scotland, and that kind of just, or is famous for something. I just burped there, apologies. It is famous for something, and it could be something really weird, like, oh, it's got the, whatever, something really weird and small. But this kind of feels like, oh, this could have actually happened,
Yeah.
because
Which again, it has. I mean,
Yeah.
the actual the story hasn't happened, but the reason for the town, because if you actually go and look up Glenelg Vampire or Vampire Grave Mid-Ulster, like this story comes up and it does say like you can go and visit. It'll be a bit of a trek through like fields and stuff, and you got to remember it's private property. But you can go to this vampire's grave, and I'm sure people do. It's still posted about even more recently for Halloween. It's like, why not go visit the vampire grave in Mid-Ulster? So it wouldn't be surprised if the writers of this film were inspired by that.
Well, Danny, I am going to put a challenge on you since you are kind of living around Mid-Ulster at the minute.
Go find it.
I think
I have got a picture.
You should go find it and take a picture.
I will. I've got a picture which we'll post up on Instagram.
Yes.
I'll send that over to you, Gavin. We'll
Good.
post on Instagram. I've downloaded one, but I'll try and go and find the actual grave itself and try and take a selfie at it. I don't know. Is that disrespectful to a possible vampire?
Well, maybe not a selfie, but if you do like just a wee quick video blog of you trekking through the field, standing in shite, and just
getting shot at, whatever happens.
Keep an eye out for bulls.
I should mention, I was going to say, I do genuinely have like a fear of cows.
That's right.
I'll be like, cares.
I remember you bringing that up in one of our first episodes ever. We talked about something.
Yeah, I talked about just being chased by cows through a field and put the fear in me. Was it when we talked about
it? Yeah, we were
talking about it, and I was like, it appears a big cow. So this will be it. If I end up doing a blog going to Abertach's grave, I'll be like.
So it was written, directed by Chris Baugh.
I think so.
Is it Baugh or Bow? What do we think?
Baugh.
Yeah, I think it's Baugh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's.
Correct us if we're wrong.
I'm sorry if that's the wrong pronunciation. I hope it's not. I feel like it's Baugh. Chris Baugh. It stars Jack Rowan, Nigel O'Neill, Louise Harland, legend, Fright, and John Lynch. Now, John Lynch is an absolute legend of Irish cinema.
Yeah.
A very sort of stoic, serious actor. Kind of appears in basically any film that's set in Northern Ireland or produced in Northern Ireland. He usually is in it. That's just a thing. But I always remember him from In the Name of the Father. He played Jerry Collins, one of Jerry Collins' mates that went down with him. And then obviously got freed at the end. But he's been in just everything, man. He's just like a pure gritty, sort of like just real gritty actor, isn't he? But he's a great actor, fantastic actor, and he's brilliant in this. So the plot, I've sort of mentioned the plot there. It is about a legendary vampire called Abertach. You've already spoke about the folklore part of it. Do you want to expand any more? Are you happy enough with?
I can go into a bit more, just give people a bit of context, because I'm sure it's probably not a widely known vampire tale, even though it is actually genuinely supposed to have inspired Stoker. It's a folk tale that originates from Mid-Ulster, from a small town called Glenelg. In a field is supposed to be a hawthorn tree with a big slab of rock, and beneath this rock is a tribal elder called Abertach, not Abernach, as I wrongly stated earlier. But he was supposed to have been like deformed and cruel, and had a very pretty wife. And when he found out that she'd cheated on him, he went to sneak out of the house one night out of his castle and somehow fell out a window and fell to his death. And they buried him, in the traditional way of Irish tribal elders, in that they buried them standing upright. And that night then he came to life and demanded that his clan slit their wrists into a bowl and he drank their blood. So the next day they went to a warrior clan leader who was, and then we're like, can you sort out this blood drinking dead king? And he was like,
can you sort him out, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, sort him out. Fucking come do this, boy, will you? So he was like, sure thing, of course I will. So he came down and lopped the head off him and buried him again. And he was like, cool, sorted that out for you. And then that night, he fucking rose up again and was like, I'm wild fucked off with you even more now. Give me more blood. And they're like, they went the next day to the warrior clan leader and we were like, you didn't do nothing. He came back again. He was asking for more blood. And he's like, oh, fuck, right, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go and try again then. So he goes and tries again. And yep, again, third time, deed, buried, standing up, all that good stuff. He's like, okay, should be done. Think we're done now. Nah, fucking our Abertac comes back and goes, more blood, please. Come on, folks. He's are fucking around. So next day, this warrior tribal leader goes to a druid and says, what am I supposed to do here? Like, this fella, he's died 3 times now, twice by my own hand, and he keeps coming back. What's the crack? And the druid says, lad, listen here, right? What you need to do is you need to bury him upside down. Stop burying him standing up. Put him upside down so his feet are up to heaven, and then put a load of big rocks on top of him, and around them rocks, put a load of twigs from like hawthorn or some other like holy tree, some other mystic tree or some shit. That shit will grow. Keep him in there, no bother. So that's what they did, and that's why today, in the middle of this field, stands a hawthorn tree with a big slab of stone under it, because that's supposed to be Abertac's grave. There you go.
There you go. There's the story.
That's the story. And apparently, even right up until the fucking like 19th, 20th century, they were actually planning on going through that field. Apparently, no, this is again, not sure how true this is, but apparently they were going to build something in that field where the grave is. And when they went to fucking cut the tree down, cut the hawthorn tree down, the chain on the chainsaw actually snapped off and sliced the hand of one of the fellas that was going to cut the tree. So they never tried again. They left it there.
Yeah, that's what happens, you know. Just
That's,
fucking see, just leave it.
Don't be messing with spooky shit.
Just fucking leave the shit.
Just don't mess with any spooky shit. Exactly. Is it anything with the folk tale around it? Leave it the fuck alone. Just leave it alone. You know, those fairy folks and all. Don't fuck with them.
Nope.
Leave them be.
Right, so you're going to try and get a picture at some point.
I'll see. I will. I'll send you the picture I have of just the one I got online, but I will try and visit the actual genuine Abertac grave down in Glenelg.
Yes, that'd be class. No, that'd be funny. Well, say funny, but
possibly spooky.
But wouldn't be funny if you died.
No,
you know that would be terrible. So
and chances are I probably wouldn't die by vampire. I'd probably die by like buckshot or cow.
I know.
More scared of the cow,
or like tripping on a big stone and then just falling and hitting your head or something.
Yeah.
If you're going, don't go on your own, go with Una or go
obviously,
with,
I'll take somebody
else.
With me. Like, I'm not gonna just dander down through a field on my own, like big silly goose.
And so it's based on a short film that they made in 2013, which I haven't seen, but I'm eager now to go back and try to watch it and find it. I'm sure it's online somewhere.
Sure, it's bound to be. I just want to real quick talk about Chris Baugh, hopefully Baugh, his other film from 2017, Bad Day for the Cut. I actually seen Boys from County Hill first and then went back and watched this because I've been recommended. I was told if you like Boys from County Hill, check out Bad Day for the Cut. Now, it's not a horror film, but it is kind of like revenge thriller sort of thing. But again, fucking brilliant, just genuine, like... It's another film, local based, sort of happens out in the sticks, proper culty characters, and then goes into Belfast. And I think there's like alluded to Troubles stuff, but it doesn't rely on the Troubles to drive the story. And yeah, just another fucking really good film from Chris. I'm really excited. I hope he does more. Because those, for me, these two films. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff, hey.
Well, yeah, well, I'm the same as you. I'm a big fan of his writing and his style, so we'll get into that a little bit more. But it was partly funded by NI Screen and Screen Ireland. I didn't get the budget, Danny. I couldn't find the budget anywhere. I do feel like it was
not a single bit of budget.
No, Jesus, it's a secret, so it's. So I feel like it wasn't that big a budget. Like if you watch the film, you can sort of tell it's a small cast. It's only a couple of locations, mostly fields, and a small village. So the budget was probably pretty low. And again, I don't know. I didn't actually write down the box office either. Um, I would be.
Research is slipping,
I know.
Gav.
I'm sorry. I would be surprised if it didn't make money. I would because this film, from everything that I've read about it before watching it as well, it was received very well. Lots of positive reviews, worldwide reviews, by the way, not just from people in Ireland.
Yeah,
which is always a good thing because sometimes films that are set in Ireland with Irish actors or Irish characters, or Northern Irish characters, sometimes doesn't always get as well received around the world because of the accent and the dialect. It is very much a thing that people from this country will be able to laugh at because they'll get the jokes and they'll get all the wee nuances and stuff. But sometimes people that don't live here are kind of like, "What the fuck did he say?" And
what
I
are they
didn't hear
talking
any of
about?
that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're from here, you'll get everything, and that's what makes it so funny. Because I mean, some of the shit they were saying in this was even stuff that that some of the background characters were saying while other things were happening just was killing me. It was fucking amazing.
Yep.
But it actually it was supposed to debut at Tribeca in 2020. Unfortunately, because of COVID, it really it really killed the whole hype of the film, unfortunately, and it didn't actually get released until Sitges, which is a big festival in the south of Spain, I think. It's a massive, massive genre festival, and it was received very well, but it didn't get a wide release until August of 2021, so almost a year after its festival run. I think it did a few other festivals. It actually won the jury prize for Best European Fantastic Film at NIF, which is a festival in Switzerland.
Nice.
And I think it did a few other festivals. So it was always, it was received very well. I still feel like it's a film that, deserves more eyes on it. I mean, I
100%.
hadn't even watched it myself. I obviously heard of it when it first came out and all was like, yes, obviously I'm going to watch this, and just never got around to watching it. So I'm a bit ashamed of that, to be honest, because it's a film that I wish I'd seen when it first came out, and I wish I'd sort of championed it a bit more. But we are doing that
We're
now,
doing it now.
Danny. We're going to
doing it
champion
now,
it.
and we're going to
So,
spread the word. Because it deserves more attention. I think it deserves to be held up there with some of the other
yes,
great vampire movies as well,
it
because it's got
does.
so many nice wee differences, but also pays respect to a lot of those other not even just other vampire movies. There's a fucking fantastic reference to American Werewolf in London in this as well,
Yes, yes, yes.
So it very much wears its love of horror, other horror films on its sleeve,
Mhm.
along with being like a really nice take on a local horror
Yeah.
folktale.
And for people who are fans of Derry Girls, which is obviously massive here, but also massive in America and Canada and all around the world, Derry Girls has done really well.
Yep.
Louise Harland is in this, who plays
Yeah.
Orla in Derry Girls, and
She's not as ditzy in this.
she's not quite as dopey in this,
Yeah.
but she does sound. She sounds the same. She
She
sounds the same.
She sounds the same. Yep.
She's not as slow, and she doesn't have that kind of weird sort of way about her. But she's great in this, and she's kind of like I suppose she would be one of the leads. She's not really one of the leads, but she's kind of like second, probably third lead.
Yeah,
And she is in it quite a bit from kind of like basically halfway through. She's in it the whole way to the end.
Yeah.
And she's got some great lines, and
she's got some fantastic lines. I like that she kind of goes off and does her own thing as well. There's not a reliance on her to become like the romantic counterpart.
Oh no,
not at all. She kind of go towards the end. She goes off and does her own thing, and I think that's great as well. I think that's something that's really nice. It's not a big point of the film, but it's just a nice point of the film. I think again, yeah, just nice, good writing, boy.
Yeah, so she's great, and Fraffy's in it as well, who plays William, who well, a couple of spoilers, he is a victim in this, and he was in Les Miserables, and he's a sort of stage actor, I think, and he was also in Hawkeye as well.
Yeah,
which was it early this year or last year? That was last year, wasn't it?
That was the end of last year, because they're not coming out like Christmas time.
It did, yeah. It was a Christmas thing. So, and he's good in this as well. But and then obviously you have Jack Rowan, who's the lead. He plays Eugene, And he's been in like Peaky Blinders and stuff like that before, so and he's really good in this as well. And
Yep.
but for me, the star of the film is Francie, who
Ah,
is Eugene's dad, and
mhm.
he's played by Nigel O'Neill, who
Nigel O'Neill, who
he's in Bad Day for the Cut as well, isn't
yes,
he?
he's the lead. He's the lead in Bad
Yes,
Day for the Cut, and he's fucking brilliant.
he's
Like he
brilliant. Yeah.
is so good. Like I actually I love him in this. Because again, he's the one, he is the authentic Cultchi.
Mhm.
And in this is him, I feel like even a bit more kind of tempered down compared to Bad Day for the Cut, like him leading Bad Day for like I highly recommend Boys from County Hell. Go watch Bad Day for the Cut as well.
Yeah.
For Nigel, like
Mhm.
so good.
He's so good in this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so he plays Eugene's dad, Francie, and they're not super close. I mean, they
No.
don't have a bad relationship, but obviously in this, the sort of subplot is that Francie is a contractor and he's the one that has been hired to do this bypass, and he
Mm-hmm.
wants Eugene, his son, to join the team and help him out. But the house that the land that they have to go through and the house that they have to knock down is William, who's played by Free, who's Eugene's best mate,
Mm-hmm.
and then John Lynch plays his dad. So
No.
close families, but they're now at loggerheads a little bit because of the drama with the bypass that has been authorized by the government, and nobody in the town really wants it
Yeah.
because it's going to cause obviously loads of traffic and loads of mayhem and chaos, and it'll
Detract
affect
from their tourist
yeah
trade for the
it'll
greater.
affect because they have to knock down the cairn, which is the massive tourist thing. It'll basically affect that forever. So but yeah, Nigel O'Neill's man. He's just so good. Like he's so deadpan as well. Like his humor, his timing's amazing.
Yeah, Nigel O'Neill and John Lynch, I think, both get like some real nice, like deadpan Northern Irishisms. You know, they get some of that real fucking sharp, sarcastic wit out in this. And yeah, brilliant. So good.
I mean, there is some. I don't ever think he went over the top.
No.
It could have been so easy for him to go sort of too culty and too kind of Northern Ireland, kind of pushed it too far. But I think there was times where he reeled it in and kind of, just kept it very real, as you said at the start of the video. The film did feel very, very authentic,
Mhm.
and it wasn't too over the top, and it
No.
didn't kind of go into too many stereotypes.
I think the only one that kind of verges on that kind of like silly culty thing is your man SP, played by Michael Ho,
Mm,
who's kind of the comedy foil friend that's in with them all.
yeah,
And he's the kind of like silly culty fella who's there for a lot of pints and
aye,
fighting and all, you know.
yeah.
But even at that, it's good to have that. It's good to have that kind of comedy foil character who who brings the lightheartedness when things are looking a bit down, you know. And there's a few actually quite emotional moments in this film,
Yeah.
as well, which is again really just I think
Well,
really speaks for the writing of it, you know.
yeah, for me, I mean, it was such a well-written film. Obviously it's got the humor there.
Mhm.
I think I think I saw a lot more humor. We are going to see more humor than your average person. That
Yeah.
people from Northern Ireland are going to see humor in basically all the scenes.
Mhm.
But I think if you're not from Northern Ireland or Ireland, you're maybe not going to see all the humor all the time. Yeah, and you might have to watch it again because it's kind of layered. But I mean, there is emotional scenes. It's very, very well written, and I really loved that there was a good bit of setup before the
Mhm.
the main incident happens, and it kind of tells you a little bit about the town, where we're at, the history and the origin of the vampire,
Mhm.
and it sort of spotlights a couple of the characters, and it goes into a wee bit of backstory about them, but it's never like exposition. You never have real tiresome exposition where
No.
it's all just little droplets here and there, and you kind of have to put the threads together yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
There even you know what as well, and it's actually something that I forgot about until I was rewatching it again for this, was there's also like a nice wee twist in there too. There's the wee twist about the stones, which I was like,
Yeah, well,
I'd forgot about that, and that's just a nice wee touch, which again makes the story that wee bit more original too, in terms of like vampire lore and stuff. Yeah, really like that.
yeah, I like that they don't. It's not just a vampire rises and bites everybody, and that's how, the main thing about this is that the vampire sucks the blood from people
Mm-hmm.
through the ground. The closer you get to the vampire as well, the more blood,
Like
and
draws out of your
yeah,
orifices.
yeah,
Which again, it's really interesting to see how many different orifices they're able to draw blood from,
yeah.
The fucking, I think one of the best ones is your man that plays the police officer Cal.
Oh, fuck me, he's great.
Fucking David Pierce. David Pierce is, see, he's in quite a lot of things that come out of Northern Ireland, and like he's so fucking funny in this. And he's like, "Would you stop calling me or I'll plant drugs on you?"
Hello. He's good. He goes to the toilet and takes the piss,
He
doesn't he?
goes for a piss, and then next thing there's blood in his piss, and it starts drawing away. It gets goes off in a wee river of blood. I love that when it's a fantastic shot. And again, I know I'm jumping ahead, but fucking I just love it so much when the camera's sort of like panning down the street and all these like rivers of blood are streaming out of the houses. And yeah, it's such a different way of a vampire to consume blood. We haven't really seen it before.
It's interesting because the film starts with two old people in the living room just having an old chat about stuff, and then they start bleeding one from the
She
nose
starts with
first.
the nosebleed, which again you're kind of like, nosebleed, all right, but then it pans over the husband, and he's crying blood. The blood's coming out of his eyes, and it's just like, oh shit, this ain't no regular.
And did you recognize the old man?
Oh yeah,
he's the priest from the Devil's Doorway.
That's right. Yep.
Which we covered last season. So go and see it.
Yeah.
Another film from Norn Ireland.
Check that out. Yeah.
But and then it goes to sort of 2 months earlier, and then obviously time has passed, so we get to that point again in the timeline. But as you mentioned there, that if you get pierced by the stones, that infects you.
Yep.
And then you become a vampire as such, and then you can then go and bite people and stuff, which does happen whenever. So the first victim is Charlie, who's the old man who's looking after the work site.
No, well, Charlie technically isn't the first. He's not the first victim as such. It's William.
Well, it's William.
But we don't find that out because we get the twist later on. But yeah, and then that whole Charlie is the first person we see go vampire.
William dies. He gets impaled by the bull.
I think
the stones.
Yeah, was it William and Eugene are walking home from the pub one night, and they're going through the field and they're fucking about and whatever, and then I gets rushed by a bull. They're not keeping an eye out because they've been scrapping. That's it. They're scrapping over like how he's doing nothing
Claire.
And he's held back.
No, it's more. I thought it was more to do with Claire because isn't that her name, Claire?
Aye, Claire. Yeah.
Aye, sorry, because later on. So this is why this is so well written, because they drop little tiny things and they don't really. It's just little drops of information, and it makes your head go, "Oh, hang on, that must be happening." But there's William and Eugene and then Claire, who are all close friends. But William and Claire are sort of a thing, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not really a couple, but it's insinuated that they have feelings for each other, or they have been a couple or something.
Yeah.
And then even later on, whenever the twist is that William is after he turns into a vampire,
he's risen from the deep.
He's risen. His dad is an undertaker, the guy John Lynch. So he obviously wants to work on him because he doesn't want anybody else to work on his body.
God, what a harrowing scene! Like,
I know, fuck me.
That scene whenever John Lynch character George is an undertaker, as Gav said, and he's like, I didn't want anybody else to work on him. I want to work on him, but then his wife is standing behind him in like the body preparation room, being like, "No, let somebody else do it. Let somebody else do it," and absolutely like howling with grief. And then he sort of holds her, and next thing, fucking William sits up on
No,
the body table, and she lets out a big
he
holler.
just starts screaming.
Aye. Oh,
And then later on, when he finally gets out,
fuck
fucking hell, you think John they sort of concocted this plan to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
And so George has kept his body sort of trapped,
Mm-hmm.
and
And the good room.
the good room
And the
you
good
find that
room.
out later on, and then they're like, fuck, we need to do something about this. So
Mm-hmm.
they concoct this plan to let him out. And they sort
So
of
they
trap him in the corridor, and then they're going to get him. But then the wife fucking shoots the husband.
shoots fucking George, yeah.
I
Fucking
know.
blasts him with the rifle. It's the bit about that I really like is, as you say, there's that kind of like, Claire and William are kind of, they're together, but they're not, but they are. And that plays in that scene because Eugene's kind of sent to lure him out of the good room. Which again, that good room bit fucking cracked me up because it's such an overhear thing.
Yeah.
Don't you be fuck going to the good room with dirty shoes.
Exactly.
So he's trying to lure him out of the good room, where he's been kept by his dad. His dad's been trying to feed him meat, but he knows he's got to feed him, human blood, the fresh human blood. So they've decided, right, we've got to kill him, we've got to lure him out. So Eugene's sent to try and lure him out. So he's bringing him down the corridor, and as he's coming into the main sort of living room area, was that George is going to swing at him, is going to cut his head off with an axe, and as William starts to get towards the door, he sort of stops before he steps into the living room, and it's kind of like, oh, come on, but he's not budging. And then Claire steps over and grabs Eugene's hand, holds his hand, and that's what causes the ghouly vampire William to sprint forward. But as he sprints forward, George's about to swing the axe and gets fucking blasted in the shoulder by his wife. Silly goose. And then she's like, oh, come to mommy.
Yeah.
And then fucking William comes over and fucking slices her throat with a fucking
brutal, man, I know.
nail, with one of his nails, slices her throat and just fucking goes for the neck. Oh. So, but it's never really sort of explained whether or not someone who's been turned into one of these sort of like flesh-eating ghouls, whether they can turn other people into vampires. That never gets delved into. So we don't really know. Oh no, he does. It does. Sorry, he turns SP into a vampire. SP gets bit, and then yes, ignore me. That they can turn other people.
Yeah,
into
I think
vampires.
they can, but
yeah,
that's part of the lore that they stick with. But obviously, another part of the lore that they get rid of is, which we find out near the end, is that sunlight doesn't affect Abertacht, and the stake through the heart.
Holy shit.
The stake through the heart doesn't either. I know, I'm surprised they didn't do the holy shit, because
they didn't do any holy shit.
They're obviously Catholics, and it's like, come on.
First thing, a single holy thing.
Grab the fucking crucifix, the holy water, and the rosary beads, and surely that'll do the job. But no.
But the stake through the heart bit, that's explained early on when you said Charlie was the kind of first victim we see, and it's my good Paul.
Is that my new Paul?
When they fucking drive that through his chest.
I see that whole scene, man. I was picturing myself. I just think that's the scene where Francie, because Francie's quite a hard ass, he's quite hard on Eugene. He's like, come on, fuck, we're going to do work here. He's a grafter. He's obviously worked his whole life. He's grafting. He's probably inherited this company or career from his father as well, and he wants to sort of beat that into Eugene a wee bit. So he's like, come on, fuck, you're in charge of the work site and blah blah blah. And Eugene obviously isn't, maybe as much of a grafter as him. But that fucking scene where Charlie's, and then whenever they're trying to kill Charlie, because obviously he's sort of turned mad or he's turned into a vampire or whatever, they don't really fully accept that he's a vampire yet, even though they actually are witnessing it with their own eyes. They try to kill him and they bury him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the foot comes up and he's like, whose foot's that?
Yeah, but again, that's why I really like. I like that detail's in there, because the original folk story is that he was buried upside down. So the foot, it's not the hand that comes up out of the grave, like in most like horror things where stuff comes out of the grave. It's a fucking foot.
Yep,
so yeah,
really
again,
clever.
Really clever, really nice. And again, just kind of linking it back, because we said there's the bit of the twist. It's actually George that he's the one that infects. He's the one that infects Oh God, his name's just gone out of my
Charlie.
head. Yeah, he's the one that infects him with the stone because his son's just come back from the dead. So he's like, I have to test this theory. And he's like, and if he, kills everybody on the building site through some crazy mad bloodlust, then they're going to have to stop the project. They're going to have to stop the bypass project, is his thinking. But obviously it unleashes whole vampire badness,
So another couple of lines that I really thought was hilarious. That whole scene with Charlie was great because that was kind of like the first scene where we get to see stuff happening and the crowd sort of seeing what is going to happen as well. But there was another line later on whenever they're like, "What the fuck are we going to do?" And we're like, "Oh, call the police, blah blah blah." So Eugene rings the PSNI, and it's what's your man called, Cal?
Cahill, yeah.
Cal, and he gets him, and he's like, "Oh, I think there's some weird guy walking around town." Small town, obviously, that's a big deal. And then Cal's like, "All right, what's he look like?" And Eugene says, "He's tall, and he's got dark skin."
Mhm.
And he's like, "Here now, we're a welcoming community."
Yeah. Oh,
And they're all looking at him going, "For fuck's sake, of all the things you had to say, you
yep.
had to fucking make him sound like he's a foreigner, who's come
Mhm.
over." But I thought Cal's reaction was hilarious.
It's so funny. Him getting a call anytime from them was
He's always fucking eating
great crack,
biscuits
like,
and sandwiches and stuff.
just sitting back. Yeah.
But
Yes.
I love there's another line later on, so we sort of find out where the story goes is that at one point in the film, Eugene's kind of digging underneath his own house in the shed, and he finds a human skull, and he's quite interested in this. Nobody else seems to be interested in
Everybody's
this.
wild lax. Like, I'm pretty sure
That's
if you find human remains, you do call the PSNI. They would take an active interest. You don't just be walking around and be like, how old do you think that skull is? Could it get any money for it? Everyone else is like, fuck off with your skull.
I know. I mean, that could be history there, man. You don't know. So anyway, he keeps this skull, and Francis like, "What's that head doing in my shed or something?"
What's on my kitchen table?
I know. And then Eugene sort of tries to put two and two together, and what way can we defeat this vampire? And he eventually comes up with the plan to sort of like, yes, you have to bury him. That's the only way to do it, is bury him under these stones. That's why the cairn was there in the first place. So, but he also finds out that why is Abertacht coming back, and why does he want to kill people? And there's a wee bit of a twist there with his mother's surname. Her maiden name is O'Kane. But originally the story goes that the person that killed Abertacht originally was an O'Kane. Obviously, it was a Gaelic version of it. O'Cahan, I think. O'Cahan,
I can tell you right now, it is
Test your Irish. Cahan now.
Yeah, Cahan.
So and so that's obviously he's a sort of descendant of that. So that's why
true.
Come back.
That's the warrior clan
leader
true. Was a Cahan, yeah.
But there's a line of dialogue where Francie's like, "Oh, you're the big chieftain now."
That's right.
I mean, it's not even a funny. It doesn't sound funny. But
it's not, but
he
it's
delivers
such an overthink. It's it is something over here. Like, oh, I suppose you're a big chieftain.
Oh,
now,
you're the big boy now, aren't you?
Oh, fuck. There's so many. There's so many wee lines like that there. There's even just a bit. I love whenever they've sort of just found out that they've just found out that William has turned and all, and they're sort of saying, that's not your son back there. You have to kill him, and they kind of go over and be like, he was so good, and he did never have messed around and all, and it comes around then. He's just like, he's a well good mannered cub.
He was always good when he came around here.
Oh fuck! The
best line was, "Oh, he had a well good right foot at him."
You're well good right foot. That was
he
it.
He played Gaelic football, and it was like, oh, he was probably the best right foot in the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that's definitely something a dad would say to another dad. You know what I mean?
It's 100%. Or is like something, one of those things you would hear in passing, like in a town where it's like they don't really know them, but they're passing themselves with
small
them.
talk, yeah.
And just well, good cub.
Oh, good mannered boy, good mannered boy. And then there was another line where Francie was like, "Don't you be going out drinking tonight? You have mass tomorrow."
That's right.
So obviously,
Yeah.
you've got mass in a small
You
town.
got
You
you
have to
got
go to it.
mass
Like.
tomorrow. Yeah.
But so I mean, it is funny. It's a comedy. We've mentioned some funny scenes there, but I would say there's some decent scares in it. There was nothing that
Mhm.
really jumps. There's maybe one jump scare that was quite good. It's leading up until Abertacht coming back, so a lot of it is set up and lead up to that point. But whenever he eventually does come back, there is some really cool scenes. I thought the creature design was really well done.
Yep.
I mean, the guy obviously it's a suit, so the guy that's in the suit and the prosthetics is a guy called Robert Strange. Robert Strange, who I don't know much about him, but I think he's a creature actor. He played some of the orcs in the that Rings of Power,
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings Amazon series, and he's done other creature stuff as well. So, but he's basically like all black,
Yeah.
with like stringy hair, and he does have that ancient vampire look. You don't really see his face close up. You sort of just see it in the shadow and when the moonlight shines on him, and um,
Wild toothy.
he's quite tall. He's got the teeth, yeah, and he's kind of lanky, and the way he moves is quite well. I mean, I suppose it is a play on the old Nosferatu style, but I
Mhm.
like the different design that they added to it. I thought it was really interesting looking, and I think just the whole production of this film was I was very, very impressed by the
Yeah.
production of this film. It didn't feel like a small production at all. Like
No.
it was really sleek and it
Mhm.
looked really, really well. There was nothing in it that I thought, oh God, that was a bit dodge. The only thing was maybe the CGI bull was a wee bit.
But
But
again,
there was,
the shots are all nice and close so that it's not,
yeah. I mean, it was
wanky
literally
looking.
three, three or four frames of the bull that was kind of like a bit dodge. But I mean, for God's sake, it was
Yeah. If
if
that's
you're
the one bad
if
thing.
you're picking that out of it, you are being really picky because I think that in general it looked like it was a really well shot film, and
Mhm.
not just the visuals but the sound design was very, very good as well. Particularly Abertacht at the end there was a lot of cool animal noises that they used when he was moving through the house and stuff. It was very, very creepy, and
Yep.
just the score in general. Like there was a lovely piece of music at the very end when you know it all turns out nice.
Yeah.
And it was just that lovely sort of like hope and
I like
um
there was a nice sort of triumphant bit at the end, when they finally sort of defeat him using Francie's leg, which again, that
oh
bit was like,
yeah.
fuck me. And the Eugene's gonna pull his own dad's leg
Uh,
off and then impale Abertacht with it. Which again I thought was a really nice thing because he falls down,
yes.
but he's still got a foot up. I thought that I
Hmm.
was like, nice, mwah, wonderful. But yeah,
They're
there was a
really
really
pushing
nice.
this, aren't they, with the
Oh,
feet in the air?
absolutely. But the nice kind of triumphant bit of music as he's sort of piling the dirt down on him and the rocks and stuff. And again, nice kind of callback with the rock stuff. Then when he's like, "Oh, I've left you that stone there from the fireplace. Your granda must have used it." And then he piles that on top, and he's making his own wee cairn
Hmm.
on top of Abertacht. Then, yeah, really good film. So
Yeah,
I think it's very clear that we both really
yeah, I love
enjoyed
it.
the
I
film.
absolutely loved it. Like you know,
Highly recommend.
I would definitely give it 4 stars out of 5. Like, if it was reviewing it, I thought everyone was great. The writing was spot on, like really well written. And as you said, as we alluded to earlier, it's not just comedy and horror. There is some drama in there,
Mhm.
that they could have even expanded a little bit. But I'm glad they kind of didn't go too much with the subplots.
Yeah.
Um, but I liked how he sort of built that lore, and I liked how he built his own little wee world in
Mhm.
that town because it was a fictional town, 6 Mile Hill,
Mhm.
um, in
5 Mile
Mid-Ulster.
Town.
5 Mile Town, eh?
Oh, Clare, 5 Mile Town.
One of those fucking weird sounding towns in Northern Ireland. So, but yeah, I loved it. So,
Yep.
if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. I think Danny, you said it was available on Channel
Yeah,
4 on
it's
demand.
on 4OD. Yeah, so it's available
Um,
there to watch with ads. But
Ads.
yeah,
If not,
definitely
I'm
worth it.
sure
Watch.
if you're not from Ireland or the UK, you might be able to find it. It was a Shudder production, was it not? I'm sure it was in Shudder.
I can't. No, I don't think so. Well, then Shutter
In
never came up.
America, I'm talking about.
Oh, did it get on
I'm
Shutter in America?
I'm
Okay.
almost certain it was a Shudder like
I hope
original.
we can get it on
Yeah.
Shudder over there.
So please check it out because it's so
do check
good.
it out, yeah.
And you know, loads of Irish talent in there, and
Mhm.
you know, I really hope that Chris Baugh, aka Chris Baugh,
I hope Chris watches this and lets us know how to say it.
Oh my
because
God, I feel embarrassed.
We'd be really embarrassed, but we would also really appreciate to know how to
funny.
say it because
It'd be
we
funny.
love your shit. So let us know
We
how to say your name
Yes,
properly.
please do, and we can't wait to see more of your stuff because you know, it's hilarious, but there's a bit more depth to it as well. So we want other people to discover your stuff. So please go and watch this film and go and watch Bad Day for the Cut as well.
Bad Day for the Cut, yep, absolutely.
Good. So well, that's pretty much it, Dan. I think we'll head on here.
Yeah.
But it's been great being back, and it's great to have Monday Night Frights back. It's great to see you and talk to you as always.
We're here again.
We are. We're
Season
back.
8.
We're back.
Gonna talk about
We're back.
horror movies
We're
with
back.
you guys.
We're back.
Yeah,
As always, please go and follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook as well. Go and like and follow the Facebook page. We're trying to get a wee bit more interaction on there if we can.
Yeah. That's where all our event postings end up.
It is,
the
yes.
Parade Film Theatre, so make sure to check that out. Yep.
Absolutely, yeah. And obviously check out the website. It's www.thefrightclubni.com. We have articles, we have interviews, we have film reviews on there as well. Excuse me. But the main thing is please go and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell icon for notification.
Ding ding. Hit the bell up there.
Ding-a-ling.
Because we do this for I don't know where it's at.
We do this for scalps,
for free.
We do it for fucking scalps.
I know, fuck, we're so busy, man. Like, and we still knock these out, you know, every 2 weeks, and it's great, and I love it. But
we'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
We'll
I know we did take a bit of a break there, but we're back and we're raring to go.
We have to take a break in between each season. That's the way it goes.
A little breather.
Until 2 weeks' time. Stay safe. Take care. All the best.
Bye.